Some moments don't break you instantly. They break you slowly, quietly, like a truth you always sensed was coming, but never dared to face. So when my husband walked into our home, holding the hand of a grown woman, and said the words, "This is my daughter," I didn't scream, I didn't cry. Because deep down, I had been waiting for this day. Before we begin, if you love emotional, real-life stories that stay with you long after they end, please consider subscribing. My name is Clara, and I've been married to Daniel for 27 years. Most people would describe our marriage as stable, peaceful, almost enviable, but peace can be deceiving, and silence, even more so. For years, there was a quiet distance between us, a space that kept widening no matter how hard I tried to fill it. Nights where he sat in the living room staring at old photographs. Mornings where he left early and came home with tired, hollow eyes. And birthdays, my birthdays, where he always looked like he was hiding something behind his smile. I knew there was a secret. I didn't know what, but I felt it, like a weight pressing on the walls of our home. And then, one gray afternoon, the truth arrived on my doorstep. I was setting the table for dinner when I heard the front door open. Daniel's voice wasn't normal. There was tension in it, a nervous quiver he couldn't hide. "Clara, we need to talk." I turned, expecting maybe bad news about work. But instead, he stepped inside, followed by a young woman in her late 20s, soft eyes, trembling hands, carrying a worn-out backpack. He stood beside her, shoulders stiff. "Clara," he said, "this is my daughter." Silence, not shock, just silence. Because in that moment, everything clicked into place, the distance, the guilt in his eyes, the quiet grief he carried like a shadow. I wasn't surprised, but I was, finally, relieved. Because I had been waiting for him to be honest. The young woman stepped forward. "My name is Emma," she said softly. I didn't want to come here like this. He asked me to." Her voice cracked, and something inside me softened. She wasn't the villain in this story. She was the truth, living, breathing, and terrified. We sat down in the living room, the three of us, an odd triangle of truths finally confronting one another. Daniel took a deep breath. "Clara, before I met you, I was in a relationship. It was short, complicated. We broke up. And I didn't know she was pregnant. I only found out years later. Emma's mother didn't want anything from me. No money, no contact. She raised her alone." His voice trembled. "When she passed away last month, Emma reached out. I couldn't ignore her." He covered his face with his hands. "I should have told you sooner. I'm sorry." For years, I kept a small wooden box in the back of my closet, not because it held memories, but because it held questions. Inside were tiny clues I had gathered slowly. A receipt from a city he had never mentioned visiting. A photograph of a building I didn't recognize. The way he always seemed grief-stricken on one particular date every year. I kept those things not to expose him, but because I wanted to understand him, to someday help him face whatever he was hiding. And now, the secret stood in front of me. I excused myself, walked to the bedroom, and returned with the box. I placed it gently in his hands. "I've been waiting for you to tell me the truth," I said softly. "I knew something was missing from your life. I didn't know it was her. But I knew you were carrying a weight alone. You don't have to anymore." Daniel opened the box and froze. Tears welled in his eyes as he realized I had known. "Not everything, but enough," he whispered. "Why didn't you confront me?" "Because," I said, "I wanted you to come to me on your own. Love isn't just about sharing joy. It's about being ready to hold the pain, too." M. May. ends truth. Emma looked up, tears slipping down her cheeks. I thought you'd hate me, she whispered. I never wanted to ruin your marriage. I reached out and held her hand. You didn't ruin anything. Secrets do, not the people who come with truth. She broke down, crying, and I held her like she had always been mine. Daniel watched us, his face full of guilt, but also, for the first time in years, relief. We spent hours talking. Emma told us about her mother. Daniel told us about the years he spent wishing he had been braver. And I shared the truth I had kept quiet for so long. Every couple has a moment where their whole life cracks open. This was ours, but sometimes cracks let light in. Today, Emma visits often. She helps me cook, laughs with me like she's known me forever. And Daniel, he is different now, lighter, honest, present. This truth didn't break us. It rebuilt us. And the day he brought her home, the day he said, "This is my daughter," wasn't the day my world fell apart. It was the day everything finally made sense.